dividend taxation. First, we have to understand three. Okay, we have to understand 3-4 parts in this dividend taxation. The first important part is to understand the meaning of dividends, which is given under section 2, subsection 22. We all know that 2 is a definition section. We all know that 2 is a definition section. So dividend meaning is given in section 2 of the Income Tax Act. Then the next one that we need to understand is about the taxability of dividends, which is given in section 8. Available in section 8. Taxability of dividend is available in section 8. How it is taxable, what has to be considered while you are taking this into consideration is given in section 8. Then section 57. Section 57 talks about a case, where you have got few kind of exceptions that we have got, few kind of expenditure. I'll put like this: expenditure that are allowed as deduction. Expenditure that are allowed as deduction. Expenditure that are allowed as deduction given in section 57. Section 80M, chapter 6A deductions that we have got. Section 80M, chapter 6A deductions that we have got. These are the various things that we need to understand along with the dividend taxation. Dividends taxation, these are the various things that we need to understand. First, section 8 we will talk about, which talks about taxability of dividend income. Taxability of dividend income.
The meaning?
We'll discuss that. First, we'll talk about the taxability, then we'll go to the meaning. Don't worry, all these things I gave only because we are going to discuss it. Dividend that we have got is fully taxable in the year in which it is distributed or paid. It is taxable in the year in which it is distributed or paid. Second, in case of interim dividend, I hope you all know what is the meaning of interim dividend, paid before the end of the year. It is taxable in the year in which it is available to assessee. Available to assessee. When it is available to assessee, in that year it is taxable.
Sir, madi solunga. Interim dividend.
Interim dividend is taxable in the year in which it is available to the assessee. Now, let's go. This is what section 8 tells you. It is taxable in the year in which the dividend is paid or distributed. In case of interim dividend, it is taxable in the year in which it is available to the assessee. Available to the assessee. Right on. Now, Let's go to section 2. Section 22 defines the meaning of dividends. Meaning of dividends. Now, dividends has got 5 different parts. Dividend has got 5 different parts. First part, dividend part 5, meaning has got 5 different things. First, dividend has got 5 different items. Under that, the first one, any distribution of profits. Dividend means will be any distribution of profits to shareholders which reduces the assets. Which reduces the assets. Will be considered as dividends. Which reduces the assets will be considered as dividends. Data. Now, I'll give an example. When you pay dividends, what happens? Entry would be dividend account debtor to bank. Bank is an asset. The value reduces. That is covered here. If you pay by way of kind, instead of me paying in cash, I give him stock. What happens? Entry would be bank account debtor to stock. I give him in kind by way of plant and machinery. Entry would be bank account debtor to plant and machinery. So what happens? The value of the assets reduce when you pay. That would be considered as dividends. So dividend not in cash, dividend in kind is also included in point number 1. Dividend in kind is also included in point number 1.
சார் எப்படியா இருந்தாலும் டிவிடெண்ட் டிக்ளேர் பண்ணாங்கன்னா எப்படி ரெடியூஸ் ஆக தான் சார் போகுது?
It can be in cash, it can be in kind also. Kind is also covered here. That's what I'm saying. We are understanding the meaning of dividends.
Oh, okay, sir.
Second part. Second part.
Sir, sorry sir, that network problem was there, sir. This is meaning of dividend you are discussing.
We just started. Network enna problem? Enga epa full problem ah?
No sir, I don't know sir.
Where did you not have? From where you did not have the?
Like I have written the heading section meaning of dividend.
We are talking about there are 5 parts. Fifth part we are saying now. See, first part we are saying. Sorry, fifth part. First part. Any payment to the shareholders which reduces the value of the asset will be considered as dividends. Any payment to the shareholders which reduces the value of the asset. will be considered as dividends. Second has got two parts in it. First, second has got two parts. Point 1, point 2. Bonus shares given to preference shareholders will be considered as dividends. Bonus shares given to preference shareholder will be considered as dividends. Bonus to preference shareholders will be considered as dividends. Second, debentures are deposits given to shareholders. Debentures are deposit given to shareholders.
சார் டெபாசிட்ஸ்க்கு முன்னாடி என்னது?
Debentures.
Debentures, sir.
Debentures. Are deposits given to shareholders. Next. So that means in point number 2, there are two. Bonus to preference shareholders would be dividends. That means bonus to equity shareholders will not be considered as dividends. Will not be considered as dividends. So you have to be careful here, friends. Bonus to equity shareholder will not be considered as dividends. Now, third, distribution at the time of liquidation. When the company is getting liquidated, money would be distributed. At the time of liquidation, if the money is distributed, that would be considered as again dividends. Fourth, distribution at the time of capital reduction. Distribution at the time of capital reduction. Last part you have to understand further. Now here, if a loan is given by closely held company to shareholder, only equity shareholder. I'll explain to you in detail. First you will note down, then I'll explain to you in detail.
Yes, sir.
Loan is given by closely held company to equity shareholder.
So loan given by
Closely held company to equity shareholder. Loan is given by closely held company to equity shareholder who has at least 10% voting power. So once a loan is given, then that loan itself will be considered dividends.
Oh.
So I got 5 parts. Part 1 is applicable to equity and preference. Part 2, I got 2 parts in that. Bonus to preference shareholders alone will be applicable. So part 2, the second part, part 3, part 4 will all be applicable to both the shareholders. Part 5 is again applicable only to equity shareholder. A closely held company gives a loan to equity shareholder who has got at least 10% voting power. Then this loan would be considered as dividends. Or the loan is given by a closely held company to another organization in which this equity shareholder has got substantial interest.
Sir, in the same point, sir.
Loan, yeah. Again, same point only. Loan is given. Loan is given by the closely held company loan is given by closely held company to an organization in which this equity shareholder has got substantial interest. This part alone we need further discussion because the first 4 parts are very simple, no big implications that we have got. 5th part alone we have got to understand further.
Sir, in which equity shareholder or shareholder, sir?
Equity shareholder has got substantial interest.
The substantial interest எவ்வளவு சார் எத்தனை
எல்லாமே
percentage?
படிக்கணும் எல்லாமே படிக்கும். I told you 0.5 you would not have understood anything. You are going to discuss
Yes,
in
sir.
detail. You would not have understood anything.
Sir, 10 minutes break, sir.
10 minutes தான் break தான் ஓடிட்டு இருக்கும். You are running only in break only. நடுவுல எவ்வளவு நேரம் பிரேக் ஆச்சு? ஃபுல்லா பிரேக்ல தான் ஓடிச்சு வண்டியே.
சரி எல்லாரும் கேக்குறாங்க சார் பிரேக்.
காவ்யா
சார் ஆன்லைன் கிளாஸ்ல உட்காரதே கஷ்டம் சார், இவ்வளவு நேரம்
நின்னுக்கோமா.
கண்டினியூஸ்
You can
இருக்கு
also
சார்.
stand, no problem. Right now, let's go ahead. We'll understand this further. This point is very, very critical. Please jokes about, please concentrate. Yeah. Now there were scenarios where a closely held company, you will not know a closely held company. We'll take an example where it's a private limited company with just 2 shareholders. We'll just take that as an example for closely held company. Just take that as an example of closely held company. 2 shareholders. A Limited has got 2 shareholders, A and B. They are also the directors of the company. Right? A has got 50% shareholding, B has got 50% shareholding. We'll just take that as a closely held company. We are going to have a very detailed discussion on a closely held company. Don't worry. Now, this company has earned profits. Now, if the profits are distributed to the shareholder, for the shareholder, there will be a dividends, which the shareholder should pay tax. Now, you concentrate. Concentrate. This is very, very important thing I told you. Please concentrate. After this, we'll have a break. Okay, no, concentrate. Now, please concentrate. You have to pull up. Now, so you have got a company, A Limited, with just 2 shareholders, A and B. They are also the directors. And the company is now going to pay dividends. If they pay dividends in the hands of the shareholder, then they have to pay tax. Because for the shareholder, dividend is an income. With that, able to understand what are we discussing? So instead,
sir.
the company gives a loan. Who gives a loan to whom?
A limited.
A
A
limited gives
gives a
loan to
loan
director,
to shareholder. Who are the shareholders?
shareholders,
A and B.
A and B.
This loan is never going to be repaid. Never going to be repaid. That means ideally what is that they are giving? They are giving dividends only, but calling it as loan. They are giving dividends only, but they are calling it as loan. Because if you call it as loan, you don't need to pay dividend. You don't need to pay income tax. If you call it
Yes,
as
sir,
loan,
yes, sir.
I have received the loan, I will not pay tax. You are calling it as loan. But ideally, what it is, sir? Dividends. So therefore, income tax, they said, if any person receives a loan like this, that would be considered as dividends. If you receive a loan, it would be considered as dividends. Now you cannot get loan, huh? Therefore, what people thought, okay, I don't want a loan. A also has got a partnership firm. A also has got a partnership firm. He's a partner in a partnership firm. We'll call it as A and B. Is called as A and Co. Now, A Limited is giving a loan to A and Co. A Limited is giving a loan to A and Co. This is also a dividend. Right, see, the closely held company gives a loan to an equity shareholder. It is considered as what? Loan?
Yes, sir.
Or it gives to an organization in which this equity shareholder has got substantial interest. It's a partner, substantial interest. Therefore, this is also considered as loan. Whether you directly give it to the shareholder or give it to an organization in which this shareholder has got substantial interest, then it would be dividends. Now we will understand the meaning of few terms, then again come back to this example, then again we will read, we will have better clarity. First, let's understand the meaning of SI, sub-inspector. Let's understand the meaning of SI. Right, SI, he will understand as sub-inspector, substantial interest. SI here would mean substantial interest. Meaning of substantial interest. This organization can either be a company or can be others. A can be a director in another company, or he can be a partner, or he can be a member of HUF, or he can be a member of an AOP, or he can be anything. So this organization which is receiving the loan, from the closely held company. Organization is receiving the loan from the closely held company, can be either a company or others. If it is a company, substantial interest means 20% voting power. 20% voting power.
Yes, sir.
If it is other organization, then it is 20% profit sharing. 20% partnership from 20% profit sharing.
Profit sharing.
Company 20% voting power. Right now. Right. Now, let's go ahead. Understand the meaning of closely held company. Let's understand the meaning of closely held company. It is defined under section 2, subsection 18. 2 subsection 18 says the following are not closely held company. Anything else will be a closely held company. The following that we are going to discuss are not closely held company. That means other than the following, everything else will be a closely held company. That means they are defining it. They got inclusive definition, exclusive definition. This is an exclusive definition. First, Section 8 company, Section 8 of Companies Act, Section 8 of Companies Act, that is charitable company. Section 8
Yes,
company, Section 8 Companies Act. Second, a company in which the government or RBI, government or central, it can be either the central government or state government, owns at least 50% shares. Understand, friends? Again, before you proceed, please concentrate a minute of time, then you can go to the second one. We are talking about
Yes,
a company which are not closely held company. That means if this company gives loan, it will not be considered as dividends. It will not be
closely
considered as
held
dividends.
company.
It will not be considered as dividends. Loan given by a closely held company alone will be considered as dividends. These are all not closely held company. Getting up? What are we able to understand, right? These are all not closely held company. Government or RBI have at least 50% shares. Typical example is Indian Oil Corporation, Bharat Petroleum, HP, ONGC. These are all examples of non-closely. The second point covered under second point. Third, a company in which at least 40% of the shares, a company in which at least 40% of the shares are held by cooperative societies. A company in which at least 40% of the shares are held by cooperative societies. Then, mutual benefit finance company. Mutual benefit finance companies. You will have a detailed discussion of companies. The mutual benefit finance company is defined as section 620A of the Companies Act. 620 of the Companies Act. I am saying the old Companies Act. New Companies Act, it is 406. 406 of New Companies Act talks about this. Anyway, you will have a detailed discussion of the point.
Mutual benefit financial company, sir.
Mutual benefit finance company. Main benefit, what they do now, main thing, they'll accept deposit and give loans. It's like banking company.
Oh, yes, sir.
Defined under section 406 of the New Companies Act. Fifth one. A companies whose shares are listed in any stock exchange. A company whose shares are listed in any stock exchange. In India, of course. Stock exchange in India. Sixth. Subsidiary of the above mentioned companies. Subsidiary of the above mentioned companies. Will all be considered as not a closely held
Not
company.
closely held companies.
These are all examples of, not examples, these are all not closely held company. Anything other than this will be a closely held company. That means if these 6 companies give loan, it will not be considered as dividends. Any other item gives loan, it will be considered as dividends. So Now let's go back to the fifth part. We said loan given by companies which are not covered under section 218. I told you section number, I think, 2 subsection 18 defines the meaning of companies which are not closely held company. If these companies give loans to a shareholder who has got at least 10%
10%. Yes.
or gives it to an organization in which such shareholder na, the 10% shareholder has got substantial interest, then it would be considered as deemed dividends. Then it would be considered as deemed dividends. That means if a loan is given by companies covered under section 218, not a deemed dividend. Not a deemed dividend. Or a finance company gives a loan, not a deemed dividend. Now, let me take an example so that we are all thorough on what are we discussing now. Now, let's say A Limited, a listed company. A has got 30% shares in this. A Limited gives loan. No deemed dividend. Because it is a listed company.
Listed company.
Right? So you have to check this. If it is not a closely held company, then you will not be liable for deemed dividends. So this is what we have got for dividends under section 2, subsection 22. We'll quickly summarize before we proceed further. We said 222 has got 5 parts. Part 1, Part 3, Part 4 is applicable to all the shareholders, be it preference or equity. Part 5 is applicable only to equity shareholder. Part 2 has got further 2 parts. Under that, Part 2, Subpart 1 is applicable to only preference shareholders. Part 2, Subpart 2 is applicable to all the shareholders. In other words, Part 1, Part 2, Subpart 2, Part 3, Part 4 is applicable to all shareholders. Part 2, Subpart 1 is applicable only to preference shareholders. Part 5 is applicable to equity shareholders. Now, Part 1 is distribution of dividends, which reduces the assets. Part 2 will be under that bonus to preference shareholders or debentures or deposits to all the shareholders. Part 3 is distribution of the name of liquidation. Part 4 is distribution of the name of capital reduction. Part 5 is applicable only to equity shareholder, that too only by a closely held company. Equity shareholder has got 10%, more than 10% share, then if it is given to that equity shareholder or that equity shareholder has got substantial interest in any organization, the loan is given, then it will be a deemed dividend. Now you have to let me know in case you have got doubts.
Sir, 4th point, distribution at time of capital reduction இருக்குல்ல சார். அப்ப என்ன சார் ரெடியூஸ் பண்ணுவாங்க, என்ன
When the
கொடுப்பாங்க?
capital is reduced, when the capital is reduced, you will be getting money. You might be getting money from the company. If you receive money from the company, then it will be a deemed dividend.
Okay, sir.
Sir, first point, can you give one example, sir?
First point, oh, you are not working at the first point I was telling you, when you pay dividends, what is the entry for dividends? Bank dividend account out to bank, that is dividends. Or when you pay dividends by way of any asset, plant and machinery, or stock, value of the asset reduces, that will again be dividends.
So like a dividend paid in cash or kind, sir?
Correct. Simple sentence, dividend paid in cash or kind. Right? Clear on this?
Yes, sir.